Google VEO3, which is the most advanced artificial intelligence in the world, has just released a cheaper and faster version. And in today's video, we're going to access this version, learn how to use it, and create a Hollywood level short film. But first, comment below. Have you ever used a video artificial intelligence? Another question, have you ever used any AI to monetize, to make money, or to improve your productivity? Comment below, I want to know. Let's go straight to my computer screen. Remember, if you don't have a Google VEO3 subscription, you can access it through Gemini or through Google Flow, right? Just type it into Google, choose a subscription, and you can start for free for 30 days. You sign up, and then on the 29th day, if you're not interested, you can cancel at no cost. It's a great opportunity to test today's model for free, okay? So let's get right to it. 3, 2, 1, go! But the first thing I want to do is a text to video. Let's run a test here. Movies. A woman dressed in red talks to a man in a suit and hat in a restaurant in a spy movie style. The woman gently murmurs in a soft, lingering, seductive voice, her words hanging in the air. You won't believe what happened. I can hardly even begin to process it. Honestly, just a reminder, you can enter the prompt in Brazilian, Portuguese, English, Spanish, or German. I'm mentioning this because this video is on my channels in those languages. Of course, Google is in English, so if you enter the prompt in English, it tends to give a better result. However, nowadays, you can actually use any of those languages, and in practice, it will still work quite well for you, for most. When a model like this, fast one, is released, as it just was, Google asks you to write the prompt in English, but the dialogues can be in your own language. So, for example, you write the prompt in English, but you put the dialogue in quotes and write it in Portuguese, Spanish, or German, okay? Let's continue here. The man responds curious. What? Did Gemini reach AGI? And she replies, no. VEO3 Fast was officially released on the Manus and Flow platforms for a total of 20 credits. And then the man responds, I can't believe it. I'm not sure if this text here is too long, if there will be time to say all these lines. I'm not going to start from an image. I'm going to let them generate the entire image. I'm just going to say one more thing here. Look, so he used the text to video tool that basically, as the name suggests, you type in the text and it generates a video, but the videos are 8 seconds long. So if it's too long, it might not make it to the end, or it might summarize, right? It might not stick to everything and tries to cut it, fit into 8 seconds. The couple's table is well lit, but the rest of the restaurant has dim lighting. The atmosphere is suspenseful. Let's see if this is going to work. If anything, we can make some improvements here. Just a reminder, we're generating this here with VEO3 Fast. Text to video generation in general will come out with audio, but there's always that risk, right? The VEO3, the so-called quality mode, which is the normal one, let's say, costs 100 credits per generation. As of the time I'm recording this video, Fast only costs 20 credits, much cheaper. The texts aren't short, they're actually quite long. It's said to generate. It says it has to be in English. I forgot about that detail. Wait. Let's translate it now because I'm not going to redo this text here. Translate to English, but keep the dialogues in Portuguese. So let's do it again. I forgot to say it like this. The dialogues need to be in Brazilian Portuguese PTBR, just to make it clear. Don't use subtitles. I told them not to add subtitles, but this doesn't really do anything, does it? This is the kind of prompt that, besides being phrased negatively meaning, it has to understand that it's not supposed to add something, which actually makes it more likely to add than to remove. This just doesn't work. All right, let's try now. 3, 2, 1, go. As I've already told you guys, right, this generation here isn't very fast. Look here, see, it's going 11, 12%, 13%. It takes a little while, but slowly things move along and they work. I find it funny when people, get spoiled, right? Like, for example, when a new model comes out, VEO2, for instance, wow, the quality is amazing, and they make a video saying it's incredible. I'm not talking about him, right? I'm talking about anyone. Then they released the VEO3, which didn't even take long. I think it was within about 6 months, maybe even less. And then, wow, right? Then they look and they compare the VEO3 to the VEO2, and suddenly it's like, wow, but this VEO2, look how bad it is and everything. Then you go and generate a video that's like Hollywood level, and it takes, I don't know, about a minute. It's about the time it takes for you to go grab a juice and come back, or a coffee and come back. People are like, oh, it's kind of slow. It's just that people these days are really anxious Anyway, and the credit updates happen pretty much in real time. Look, he had deducted 20 credits, but it already refunded my 20 credits here because there was an error in that first generation that wasn't in. But now that the video worked, it's loading properly. Everything's working. Look at that, guys. The video's ready. I haven't watched it yet. We're gonna watch together here for the first time. I can already see that it's a bit blurry. Look, 8 seconds. It's kind of blurry. She's complaining. Look at the cinematic lighting. It's amazing. The lighting on the glasses, the people in the background. Yeah, notice before I hit play to see if not only the main characters are behaving naturally, but also if the people in the background, the supporting characters are acting in a natural way. Because that's the problem, the problems with AIs. Usually they focus here, but in the background, something weird happens. Like one person coming out of another, or someone walking forward while another is walking backward, and so on.
3, 2, 1, go.
You won't believe what happened.
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
No, Veil 3 Fast was released on Menace and Flow for 20 credits.
I can't believe it.
You don't believe what happened?
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
Look how interesting. He said Gemini, right? It even sounded funny. It should be Gemini anyway. But just look at the cinematic camera change. So people are behaving naturally here in the background. And there's a camera shift focusing on whoever is speaking. Yeah, like this is incredible. This is incredible. How much would it cost you to hire some actors and do this, or to hire professionals to do this in CGI?
I haven't watched it. We're going to watch it together here for the first time. I can already see it's a bit blurry, but let's see, huh? 3, 2, 1, go.
You won't believe what happened.
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
No, Veil 3 Fast was released on Menace and Flow for 20 credits.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe what happened?
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
No, Veil 3 Fast was released on Menace and Flow for 20 credits.
Did you guys see how interesting that was? He said Gemini. One of the interesting things which is related is that it's worth pointing out here on Migo Chases. Look, Gemini, you could say it like this. Look, Gemini, did you understand what I did here? Look, I wrote Gemini. But one interesting thing, the dialogue turned out really complete, and something I didn't notice those it have background noise like restaurant sounds.
You won't believe what happened.
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
No, Veil 3 Fast was released on Menace and Flow for 20 credits.
I can't believe it turned out excellent. That's the truth, folks. I'm going to do a new generation with exactly the same prompt, but this time I'm going to put Gemini and add here. A jazz piano plays softly in the background.
One thing you have to realize is that when you create text to video, character consistency is a complicated issue. So it will generate a new video with the same characteristics using the same prompt. The woman will be wearing red, she'll have lipstick on, the guy will be wearing a hat, they'll say the same things, the bar will look similar. Yes, but will the characters be exactly the same? Usually not, and that's where the complication lies. When you use image to video, then you can achieve greater consistency, because nowadays you can already get consistency in image. Consistency in video is still quite complicated, but things are advancing, so soon, in just a few months, this will happen. Comment below. On a scale from 1 to 5, what score would you give to the quality of this video?
Just to see if it adds anything extra there. Oh, and one detail worth mentioning. You can notice that the image quality isn't at that super high level that VO3 quality has, you can tell, right? But even so, this scene now looks much better. The first one there, I thought it started out kind of blurry,
Look at that, all right? He's comparing it to Google VEO, which, by the way, I've already made some videos about here on the channel. I'll leave it at the end here, look, showing up here at the top. I'll leave it, you should check it out because there are several amazing videos, but anyway, it's fine. He compared it to a bigger, better model. When you see something better, you can't unsee it, right? You end up thinking the other one isn't that good anymore, right? Anyway.
Kind of messed up. This one here, look, I thought this one was a bit blurry, but then when the scene changes, it gets really good. All right, let's generate it again. Exactly the same prompt, but now with jazz piano in the background. And always showing here that the credits are deducted exactly right, you see? I'm doing a new generation. It deducted 20 again. I'll tell you guys, with the price dropping now, the way it is, now it's actually worth getting a subscription. Because the way it was before, to be honest, it wasn't worth it. It used to get kind of expensive and you didn't really feel like using it. Especially because, as you can see, the process of generating videos until you get the scene just the way you want takes some time. You have to spend some brain power there, improving the prompts and all that. Although I have to say, for me, this first scene here is already great. The only thing I didn't like is that he said Gemini. He could have said Gemini, but the scene turned out excellent. The setting is excellent. This video, just the way it is, I already know a lot of people are going to say it's either CGI or that it wasn't made with AI. Let's submit this prompt again to see if it works because it gave an error earlier.
And remember that most people will be watching on their phones and sometimes the internet connection isn't that good. So just like that, people will easily think it's real. And how do you make money with a video like this? Because people keep making little videos, making memes, laughing, but how do you actually make money with your phone or your computer using the right AIs. Let's use artificial intelligence to monetize, to make money, and to have fun in the process. Let's continue here.
And look at this, huh? It went minus 20. Let's see if he'll give it back. Look, it refunded, see? It refunded correctly and is running the next one. So guys, one of the problems, for example, when you're here in Google AI Studio using VEO2, if there's a generation error, it doesn't refund. That's it, it's lost. And remember that here in Google AI Studio, you can only choose VEO2, but here it's completely free. You don't pay anything. Let's put the same prompt in here and see what happens. Of course, there won't be any dialogues here, right? Because there's no dialogue here, but I'm generating it for free. Look at that, guys. Second scene working here.
Just to clarify, it's not that Google AI Studio doesn't generate sound. It's because the VEO2 model, which is really good, better than most competitors, doesn't generate sound, but its quality is incredible. Of course, if you compare it to VEO3, then VEO3 is much better, right?
Let's watch it together here. Watch along with me. Now there's already piano in the background. There will be the woman in red, the guy with the hat and suit, and they're at the restaurant.
I liked it, but the dramatic and cinematic lighting in the other one was much better.
You won't believe what actually happened.
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
No. Vel 3 Fast was released on Madison Flow for 20 credits.
I can't believe it.
This is
Now, her eye doesn't look very good. The other one is way better.
the guy with the hat and suit, and they're at the restaurant, right? You won't believe what happened.
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
No. Vel 3 Fast was released on Madison Flow for 20 credits.
I can't believe it.
The guy has his hand on top of it. Looks like it's on top of the plate. Anyway, the woman also has her hand on top of the plate. It's really weird. The other one is way better.
I'm telling you, their acting here is straight out of a Mexican soap opera, huh? Do you agree with me? It's really like a Mexican soap opera. It doesn't look like they're actually acting. But did you notice the detail that he said Gemini, huh? The Migos chase works, guys. If you notice that they're saying something with the wrong accent, just do the Migos chase there. Right, Gemini?
What he's saying is to write it the way you pronounce it, right? Just so you understand. Because that she's using some inside slang there. So you get it, whether you're listening to me in Portuguese, English, Spanish, or German, right?
The way a Brazilian would say it, it'll work. But check this out. Listen to him say Gemini now, okay? Pay attention.
What? Did Gemini reach AGI?
See? What? Did Gemini reach AGI? So it works, guys. And the piano, the jazz only came in right at the...
Stick around until the end, because now what are we going to do? We're going to keep going with the video, and he's going to stretch this video to make it even longer and basic. That's taking a video and being able to add another one next to it, but not through edit. Using the app itself, which is called Flow, the Google AI app, you can extend the video to create continuity, to have a next scene. That's what's amazing.
But their performance there, from the middle to the end, got pretty bad. Just look.
The VEO3 Fast was released on Manus and Flow for 20 credits.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it at the end. There really sounds like a Casas Bahia commercial. So here's the thing. I want to continue this first scene here because this scene turned out 1,000 times better. What are we going to do? We're going to click here, look, add to scene. By clicking on add to scene here, we're going to extend it, and then I'll write it in Portuguese here, and later we'll translate it. A person walks into the restaurant shouting, "What's this talk about VEO3?"
So you can see that, look, adding the scene made it longer and stretched it out here. So it's going to generate the next one to continue this. Isn't that amazing?
What I really like is Sora. It's way better. The people at the bar start to boo. So guys, since there's a frame here, as you saw earlier, it said that if you add a frame, you lose the audio. Translate. I'm coming back here to Gemini again to ask for the translation. Look, see why it's important to translate. This kind of phrase I would never write. I don't have the vocabulary. The people at the bar start to. So the verb vayar can be translated as, because our channel is also about culture, right guys? And don't forget to add that little ending there. And let's generate this continuation. They said they fixed the thumbnail issue here, huh? Look, it said, let's switch to the model compatible with this feature. Do you remember that they said it didn't accept using images? And I even said, but the option is available here. So the real truth is this: even though it's available here and this feature appears to be available, when we actually try to use it, it gives this error here. Let's switch to the model compatible with this feature. Send it again to confirm or check the settings to see. So that means these options here are pointless. They won't work. And that means for this scene to work now, I need to add the rest of the scene description.
What he's saying here is that extending the video works on VEO3, but not yet on VEO3 Fast, though it will soon. So let's learn here another way he's going to do it, which is basically to generate as if it were separate, but using the same prompt to maintain continuity. Let's go.
Which is this one here. Look, a woman and so on, but there's no dialogue. So let's continue our text here. Say that it's a movie scene, and here, look, we describe the woman and the guy as if they were there in the background. See? And we cut out the dialogue part because we don't want the dialogue. So what does that mean? is going to generate a new frame now, as you can see. It won't continue from this one, so it could be that the woman, the guy, all the characters here change completely. So just to remind you, this video here doesn't continue from the other one. The characters are going to look different. There's no way around it. Look at that, guys. The new scene is extended. Let's see what's going to happen if our generation worked out, huh? 3.
Just so we're clear, it extended. See, it went from 8 to 16, but it's not a continuation. It's a new frame. As if it took and made another video and then put them together in an editing program. But it used the base prompt to keep the same characteristics, right? Like the bar, the lighting, the clothing, and everything else.
3, 2, 1, go! What's this talk about VO3? I honestly actually prefer Sora. It's way better.
So what do you notice? That couple, this one right here, they're in the scene. See, they're actually in the scene. Let's keep going here. But they're in the scene, see, but they're clearly different people, right? You can tell they're not the same individuals, correct? Here, it even glitched a bit, but look, it's a different person. When you hit play on your phone, you might not even notice because we're analyzing it here. But there's this continuity issue, right? But let's keep going.
Let's see if our generation worked out, huh? 3, 2, 1, go! What's this talk about VO3? What I really like is Sora. It's way better. What did you guys think? At the very least, it turned out funny. I don't know if it was good acting. It kind of looks like a Brazilian movie. Look at this. What's this talk about VO3? What I really like is Sora. It's way better.
Yeah, it got a bit messed up here. Look, you can see there are some glitches here, but it turned out really good. There's a glitch in the mouth here because I paused. If it were in the regular VO3, not the fast version, maybe it would be better since the model is the same. What probably happens is that we have the concept of steps, right? So it probably has fewer steps, less rendering than the model. That's why it's called fast, right? So it skips some steps, so to speak, right? So I believe that's what's happening, Maybe it's running at fewer frames per second. In cinema, it's 24. Here on YouTube, we try to do 60 frames. Then there are people who do 30 and so on, right?
All right, this worked out. So now we're going to make a third video here, okay? Now we're going to use Gemini's magic here. Adapt the text so that the couple, feeling frustrated with their current situation, begins to argue with the Sora guy. The scene opens with the couple approaching him, clearly agitated. They confront him directly and the conversation quickly escalates. The dialogues, and then the Sora guy responds crying. But Sora is in my heart. To add that drama, that emotion. Rewrite the scene description in the same text format in order to create a video generation. So now, at this moment, I'm using Gemini to see if it can actually do it, to check if it can successfully make the adaptation, use the previous text and any earlier detail to help describe the setting and atmosphere of this. Now it worked.
In other words, once again, create the scene in the same environment with the same characteristics, but they won't be the same characters because of the difficulty in maintaining character.
Translate into English. You guys got it, right? The text is right here. VO3 is much better, and now it is faster and cheaper. And then a bunch of things happen here, and the guy says, but Sora is in my heart.
And then, as I mentioned here, for now, in the fast version, right, here are the models. In the fast version, what do you have to do? You have to put it in English. Even if you're listening to me in Portuguese, Spanish, or German, set it to English and put the dialogues in quotation marks in your own language.
Here again, don't forget to always update to VO3 because it keeps changing when there's an error. And go for it. Let's see what happens now, huh? Look, generated another one. This process is actually kind of slow. And if you let the AI do everything by itself, it can't evaluate all the things we're evaluating. So I prefer to do it manually here. As you can see, I told it not to add subtitles and it still did, right? That's why I say it's not even worth putting it in the prompt. Look, I wrote here, don't use subtitles. There's no way around it. It still added them. But let's see what happens in this last scene.
VO3 is much better. And now it's faster and cheaper.
Here it looks amazing, but the thing is, once again, they're dressed like the characters from the beginning, but they're not actually the characters from the beginning, right? Let's hit play again. Oh, and about the subtitles, Google has already said they're working on it. They've acknowledged it and are already fixing it so we can add them whenever we want, which makes it look like a movie, right? And also to not add them, right? To remove them whenever we want.
VO3 is much better. And now it's faster and cheaper.
But Sora is really in my heart.
My God, this turned out just absolutely beautiful.
Damn, I think the woman has 4 fingers, guys. Let's check here.
VO3 is much better.
4? Oh, no, but there's the little finger here, right? Yeah, there will be the little finger here, yes? No, actually, there isn't, huh? Or is there? Man, there's a little stick here. I don't think so, huh? Or is it a little stick here? No, there's a problem. She's got 4 fingers. Now we're screwed. Now we're screwed. Comment below what you thought about the cinematic quality. This thing is getting ridiculous. And if you want to see other results from Google VEO3, this video is for you. You won't regret it because it's scarily amazing, alright? I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.